So, you want to learn how to build hunters in your casual and ranked games? Well, this guide is for you. First of all, this guide will be mainly talking about conquest, but these builds will also work in other game modes. This is based on my opinion and observations of the game over the last 4 years. Alright, so let's start with our first build. The build is for those ability-based hunters. Personally, I only think there are 2 ability-based hunters in this game, those hunters being Scotty and Neef. You might say, wait a minute, what about Uller, or how about Chiron? I will say that you can use this build for both of them, but I find it is not as good as other builds. With that, here we go. You will start with Hunter's Blessing, Morningstar, which is tier 1 of Transcendence, 3 health pots, and your choice of 2 multi-potions or mana potions. I prefer the multi-potions so I have as much health as possible at all times, especially since you're not going to build lifesteal until a little bit later. But when you first back, you should buy a Warrior Tabi, as it will help augment your early clear. If you could start your Transcendence earlier, you can, but I recommend Warrior Tabi for the extra movement speed. It can be very useful early on in the game. You could also opt to start Mage's Blessing instead of Hunter's, but it's not worth it in my opinion, because you're a Hunter, and you still need attack speed. You could also start with Charged Morningstar, which is a tier 2 Transcendence, and some potions. I usually go 4 health potions, 2 multi-potions, just because I can, or I'll pocket 50 gold and save it for the next item. That is completely your choice. You'll be building Warrior Tabi into Transcendence, or Transcendence into Warrior Tabi. But after that, you should build the Crusher, which will give you the passive, power, flat penetration, and attack speed, which are all very useful for hunters. You can start potentially one-shotting people with your abilities at this point. After this, I would opt for Odyssey, as it will give you more flat pin, which will give you 30 flat pin to this point, attack speed, and give you lifesteal, which is important for taking objectives such as Fire Giant or Gold Fury. I would then finish up with the Executioner and Sais. This will allow you to have 4 items with attack speed, while you are also able to deal with massive amounts of damage with your abilities. To put it lightly, you will have 70% attack speed, meaning you will have around 1.9 attack speed in the late game. This is plenty attack speed for any hunter. The reason for Sais is simple. As a hunter, you want to worry about the enemy front line, such as warriors who will be trying to bully you by diving in the backline. Your assassins and mages builds are optimized to kill other squishy characters, but not tanks. Let's move on to auto attack focus gods. Literally, the rest of the hunters are focused on their auto attacks. Sure, their abilities can do damage, I get that, but some of them increase your attack speed, so that wouldn't inherently increase your damage, right? It would increase your DPS instead, which is damage you do in a span of time. For these kinds of gods, you want to start with Hunter's Blessing, Spike Gauntlet, 2 health potions, and either 2 multi-potions or mana potions. I personally prefer multi-potions, as you have the MP5 of the Hunter's Blessing to help you sustain, and you can just auto-attack away forever and just let your mana just sustain back up. I actually grabbed 3 health potions and 1 multi-potion myself, but maybe you'll find something that works better for you. Same as the ability base, you're looking to build Warrior Tabi. You need power to augment your clearing abilities. After this, you want to stack Devourer's Gauntlet. This will give you 24% lifesteal when stacked, and it allows you to trade with enemy gods and structures, once again like the Fire Giant or the Gold Fury. You can rush Devourer's Gauntlet before boots, which is fine, but it's the same as the Transcendence and Warrior Tabi argument. I still feel Warrior Tabi is the way to go, but there are 20 extra stacks you have to get on Devourer's Gauntlet, so I wouldn't blame you for that either. Afterwards, you want to build into the Executioner. This will be all the pin that you need for the rest of the game. The Executioner will allow you to shred protections by using your auto attacks. After that, you want to build Sais, Odyssey's build, and Titan's Bane. This will allow you to do damage to everyone, but also shred the protections heavily of warriors and guardians. Once again, they will be diving you in the backline, so why not build for them, like most of the pros do. Late game, you'll be able to out-trade anyone except for the opposing hunter, which you will evenly trade with. Before I move on, I've mentioned Executioner and Sais in both builds, and that's because you need attack speed, penetration, and Sais passive works very well with penetration. Sais takes away 3 to 5% of a target's maximum health as physical damage. Also, in the late game, if you need to sell Warrior Tabi for Ninja Tabi for the attack speed, it is totally fine. Lastly, I will talk about a crit build. I do not build it unless the team has one frontline or left. Even then, if I feel I am ahead enough to make it work, I will consider it. Either way, here you go. You will take the most recent start we talked about, which is Hunter's Blessing, Spike Gauntlet, and so forth. You will still get Devourer's Gauntlet, Warrior Tabi, and the Executioner. This is where things change. You will want to build 3 crit items, but only these 3 crit items in most situations. In this order, you should build Poison Star, Deathbringer, and Wind Demon. This will give you a 60% crit chance. You will be able to blow up mages, assassins, and hunters within 3 auto attacks normally. It does take longer on warriors and guardians, but eventually you will get there. Honestly, you could build whatever you want to build, but this is what I find the best. Remember, your priority is to take care of the front line in the later stage of the game. You should build for that. However, if the squishies are going to be your problem, which are the mages, hunters, and assassins, and they're just blowing you up, build to blow them up. So don't be afraid to build the crit build. With that said, I hope this guide helped you out. Any questions, comments, concerns, or if you want to argue your side of things, or even bring up something you believe is important, feel free to do so. Comment section is down below. That's all from me, Majabusha. Peace out.